what the Miss Flirty DreamWire looked like the very first time I had one created. And it's changed a lot since this one, but I'll just kind of talk you through why it changed. So this ribbon is just to show you where the fishing wire is. But basically I wanted it to be seamless, so it would be super flat, and you can tell how flat it is. It really is flat. There's the wefts are under here, and there you can kind of see them. So they're sewn onto the lace. Okay, and then there's these beads over here with a little bit of elastic, and the overall width is not that wide. So it kind of stops right before your ears, you know, if you're imagining putting it on. So as much as I loved how flat this was when it was on, there was just some issues with it. After wearing it, I was like, why does it need to stop right before my ears? Why can't it go out longer? And do we really need the thread to be this dark brown color? I mean, shouldn't it be more natural looking thread? And do we really need the lace? Do we really need this bead and this elastic? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change a few things. So this is what it looked like in the beginning, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like now. Okay, so this is what it looks like now, and it is, I'm not sure what that little spot is, but I think it's just a little piece of the glue probably when they were doing the tape. But anyway, it's 16 inches wide, so this will go much past your ears, almost to the top of your head. Like, it's amazing. I love that. And so you can cut it to fit your head. And this side is a little ratty, so that's good, because I'm going to show you that you know, definitely when you measure your head, you can cut it here or wherever you want, and it doesn't ruin like the integrity of the DreamWire. So I will show you this. Okay, well, I'm just going to go like this. You can see that it's like, after I remove the other part, that it's very nice and clean, and there's no, like, you know, nothing going on with this, the wefts. Okay, so what do you think? I mean, the outside, we did the thread to match it better, so it definitely isn't that dark brown anymore. You only have this one weft showing on this side, and these are all sewn nice and flat. Look how flat this is. Like, oh my goodness. So this is 170, and this is definitely a lot of hair, like so much hair, that I actually prefer the 120, and that's the one I'll be showing you today when I put that on myself. So this has the more rows because it's heavier weight. So basically what I'm gonna show you is, you know, after you trim it and cut it to your head shape, which I'll show you in just a little bit, you're gonna take a hole punch, and you are gonna punch a little hole, like about a ½ inch in here. And you're gonna just tie the fishing wire in 3 knots on both sides. You'll be able to fit your head exactly. It's completely customizable, super flat, and I'll talk more about some extra add-ons that I have for this as well that I'll be including with every package. Okay, so this is the 120 gram, which that's the one I actually like more. This has not been washed yet, so it's very silky and all of that. So I'm gonna wash this first before I do my install video or install clip for you guys. But this one, just so you can see, there's just 2 rows that are sewn, you know, on top of each other. And it's still like crazy flat. Sometimes they do the row halfway down. Either way, it doesn't matter. They're both completely flat. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I measure this and add the fishing wire and punch the holes and all that good stuff. Okay, so I washed it and dried it and curled it, and I haven't brushed it through or anything yet, but my natural hair is curled today, so I just wanted to make sure this was curled, so when I go to fit it, it kind of just, you know, blends a little bit better. Okay, so this is the hole punch that you will receive with the seamless DreamWire, and it's a 1/116. It's so tiny, but it punches the perfect hole into the weft. You will also receive 4 clips that somewhat match the color that you chose. You will receive 4 pieces of fishing wire that's plenty long enough, and 2 sleeves of hair extension tape tabs to put the clips on if you decide to do it that way, but there's another way to do it where you don't need this. Okay, so I thought I'd take a second to show you my hair. So it's curled, so it's a little bit higher up, you know, it's not as long as when it's straight. But honestly, this is the longest my hair has been in years. When I first started doing these videos, remember, it was like resting at the top of my shoulder. So, and I don't even think it reached the top of my shoulder. It was like barely there. So anyway, here we go. So the first thing you want to do is take a tail comb, and I started about an inch back from the front of my face. And I'm just kind of creating, you know, the halo type effect of where I want this to rest. It's essentially a circle around the crown of your head, and just clip the rest of your hair up out of the way. Okay, so remember the entire width is about 16 inches. I cut off that little bit, so this one might be like 15 and a half. But I actually like it that long, so I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to cut off any more. At this point, you definitely could trim off a little more if you don't want it reaching all the way up. But because my hair is so fine, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, reach it all the way up just so I have volume kind of all over. So I'm going about a ½ inch in from the outside. You don't want to get too close to the edge. And I'm just punching really tough. You want to, you know, punch it through because it is a little bit thick. And there'll be that little flap of the weft kind of sticking out on the other side. So just grab a scissors and cut that off gently. And because I have a tiny scissors, I'm able just to kind of put it through the hole. These are little sewing scissors. Okay, so I'm just doing the other side, also a ½ inch in from the side of the weft. And just punching it twice just to kind of reinforce it. And I cut that little extra off as well on this side. So you're just going to take your fishing wire and put it through the hole and tie 3 knots. I'm just tying the knot over the top of the weft. You definitely can do more if you want to do like 5 or 6 knots. 3 usually is fine for me, but let's go ahead and do a little bit more just to be safe. I'll do 4. Okay, so I'm going to feed the other one through the other side of the fishing wire through the hole and just grab it really tight and kind of pull it up. So now these are like, it's like this. I'm going to go measure my head. So when I loosen it, it kind of falls, and when I tighten it, it gets really tight. And just make sure it's on the area that you feel like it's the most comfortable. Like this feels really good to me right here. I could go just a little higher. So that's the area where I'm going to go ahead and tie the knot on the other side. Okay, so I just tied 4 knots on the other side and cut off the extra. Make sure not to cut too close to the knots, just leave a little bit of space. And then you are done. That's your DreamWire, and you just kind of rest it on your head right where you had determined for it to go. And then you can take your hair out of the clip and just kind of hold it up, and I gently pull all the hair, you know, right over, just to make sure that I'm getting a really snug fit and a really concealed fit. And this really helps it feel like even more in place when I do this. I just love how natural it feels and how natural it looks, and it's just so flat. Like I can't even tell you like how flat it is. It's like, is there anything even in there? It just feels wonderful, and you can even see like when I'm parting my hair in the back, like just look how flat to my head it is. I love that. Okay, so remember when I said you don't necessarily need the tape for the clips? A customer recently shared this with me, and she's been loving it, and I'm like, wow, that's a great idea. She just clips the clip right onto the fishing wire, her hair, and a little bit of the seamless weft right there at the top, and it just like locks it in place perfectly. And she does it on both sides, and yeah, I tried it and I was like, oh my goodness, this actually really does work. You feel like that hair is not going anywhere. The clips are not absolutely necessary. It's only if you feel like you're going to be in a really windy place or you just want that extra security. Feels so secure. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm taking out the clips really quick, and I'm going to flip this seamless DreamWire right out of my head in like 2 seconds. And I wanted to show you the tape now. So you could put the tape anywhere. You can put it, you know, any part of the weft. And it actually does hold. This is another tip from a customer that she gave me, and it actually holds for like weeks at a time. And it's so nice because it's not permanent. I mean, the last thing you want to do is be sewing clips on and then cutting them off because you realize you don't want them anymore. So this is great for just those extra windy days. It's better to cut the tape tab just a little bit down. I didn't here because there's some tape, you know, poking out on the sides. But if you cut it down just a little bit, it really will help it, you know, be like perfect width of the clip. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to show you is just another way that you can put it on. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but you're just kind of resting it over the crown of your head, and then you use a tail comb to gently pick out your natural hair over the seamless DreamWire. And it's, you know, good to hold on to the extensions too, because you don't want to kind of, you know, dig underneath and then the whole thing flips right off your head. So just kind of hold on to it and do it the whole way around. And while I'm doing this, just a few more tips. If the DreamWire is too loose and it just doesn't fit right anymore and you need to tighten it up, the best thing to do is just kind of start over. Cut off that other fishing wire and use a fresh one and make it a little shorter than you did last time. If you want to measure the the fishing wire each time so you kind of know what your perfect amount is, that might really help you to be able to do it perfectly each time. Occasionally, there can be a snap in the fishing wire if you're tugging on your hair extensions really hard. So always hold your, extensions when you brush your hair, just like you do with tape-ins. And again, if the wire breaks, you have replacement wires in there as well. So I haven't layered these extensions, obviously. I just did this fresh for you guys. So I could definitely put some layers in it. Or I could put another seamless DreamWire on top of this one that's shorter. So then it kind of would blend really naturally with my layers and then the next layer of the seamless DreamWire and then this one. But it would obviously be a lot thicker too. So that's just up to you on how you want to do it. But I love it the way it is. It feels nice and light, and it's so great to take a break from taping sometimes and just be like, oh, it's fine. I have hair extensions. I can just throw this on and wear this for a few hours a day, and it's just light and healthy and really good for your hair to kind of give it a break every now and then. So anyway, I hope you guys try it out, and if you do, I'd love to hear what you think. Hope you guys have a great week. Talk to you soon. Bye.